Yeah, he's on the church board now. The guy with glasses and the blue shirt here, he's from Mount Carmel. He's over at Mount Carmel Senior Center, Mr. Jesse. I'm in Jesse. The other, there's that, I don't see the other Mount Carmel guy. Mr. They got the district on coming up. Well, maybe not because no, they didn't because they had Charlie over there with Jeff was trying to keep and they had Mr. Coleman that didn't I guess they were joined up to
Good evening, all rise. Hawkins County Commission session. I'm Nancy Davis, County Clerk beside.
Thank you. In the absence of the election of our chairman of the commission, I've been asked to guide the meeting up to that point. So first, if you will bow your heads with me, and Commissioner Dawson Fields will do the prayer.
Before we pray, and considering, like Nancy said, none of the committees or anything else are in place yet, and I wanted to, and if I step on anybody's toes and I recognize something for somebody that somebody was already going to, please let me know. This is School Bus Driver Appreciation Month, so please, school bus drivers, shake their hand, tell them they have elected official in Hawkins County. But shake their hands. Other thing, we have 4 schools: Mount Carmel Elementary, Clinch, Hawkins Elementary, Carter's Valley Elementary, have received the highest academic honors that the state of Tennessee offers for student growth and their academic achievements. Is that right, Wes?
Yes, sir.
And I just wanted to, in case nobody else had a chance to, I wanted to recognize those 4 schools who has one school that has the opportunity to be nominated for something like that, much less 4. Anyway, we'll bow our heads, we'll pray. Lord, we'd like to thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for everything you've given us, Lord. We thank you for the opportunities that we've taken, Lord, the opportunities that we've missed that we didn't take, Lord. Lord, we thank you for your Son, Lord. He died on the cross for our sins, and the blood that was shed that we can never repay. We ask you to go with us, Lord, to be with us as we guide this meeting and help us make the right decisions, not just for us, but for our constituents, for our county, everything that honors you, Lord. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Present colors. This place has made a pledge of allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Coat of arms. Salute. 2. Coat of arms. Dismissed.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Please be seated. Just a couple of little housekeeping items. If we could get everybody to go ahead and silence their cell phones. I know sometimes we forget, I forget. It's a little bit distracting to have those ringing during a meeting. And another thing, we will be using a 3-minute rule for all speakers. So if you're recognized to speak before the commission, you'll be held to a 3-minute rule. All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order, and for all commissioners, especially new commissioners, okay. All right. I'd like to welcome our new mayor, Jim Lee, our returning senior commissioners, and our new county commissioners. First thing will be the conflict of interest statement read by our county attorney.
Yes, Madam Chairman. First of all, conflict of interest rules basically are this. If you work for Hawkins County or the Sheriff's Department or the school board, or your spouse does, the immediate family, then you can't vote on anything that would give a benefit or increase to either you or your spouse, such as a budget amendment or anything else along that line. Other than that, you're free to vote. You can vote on budget, the tax rate, and so forth. There's also an indirect conflict of interest, which could mean basically anything that might be direct, but it's not direct, so it's indirect, which is hard to define admittedly. But I think if you have a close relative that works for the county, something along that lines, or you are somehow involved in a contract with the county, you might work for the contractor or whatever, that could well be an indirect conflict of interest. And as long as you declare that indirect conflict of interest before the meeting starts, and I'll do that for you with the conflict of interest statement, then you acknowledge that indirect conflict of interest, you can still vote on those matters or any other matters as far as that goes. And so no one has told me of any indirect conflict of interest this time other than Mr. Jeff Barrett, and so I'm going to get him to acknowledge that conflict of interest for all actions and purposes of this meeting. Do you do so?
Yes, Mr. Phillips, and just for the record, the reason that I've taken indirect conflict of interest, I'm employed by the Natural Gas Utility District of Hawkins County. The gas company supplies natural gas and propane to different buildings, public buildings, school systems, things like that. So that's why I declare the indirect conflict of interest. But as far as me setting rates, the amount of the gas bills, things like that, I have nothing to do with that. I order parts and equipment. I am the purchasing director for the gas company. And that's why I take the indirect conflict of interest. And I do acknowledge that.
The record reflects Mr. Barrett.
Okay, moving on to our office reports, I'll tell you the ones that have been received by the county clerk's office and filed in. We have the Register of Deeds Annual Financial Report, July 1st, 2017 through 6/30/2018. We have filed with the county clerk, Hawkins County Department of Education Quarterly Review and Expenditure Report for the fourth quarter, 2017-2018. And also one announcement, I've laid on at everyone's desk a upcoming county commission training led by the Tennessee County Commissioners Association on August the 9th. If anyone would like to attend. October the 9th. Moving back. Maybe an hour or so. Does any other, office have any reports that need to be given? Okay, moving on to commendations and recognitions. Are there any? Okay. Then our next item is the approval of the minutes. And you should have received in your packet the minutes from the August 27, 18 minutes.
I'll make a motion.
All right. Make a motion, Dawson Fields. All right, if you'll do the second by your, thank you. All right, we have a motion and second. Any discussion? All right, now we have Mr. Bridwell present. All right, no discussion, then if you would approve the minutes, please. We have 21 yes. All right. This is hard writing notes and trying to announce all this stuff, just so y'all know. All right, moving on to our resolutions. Resolution 2018-0901, appointment of chair of Hawkins County Commission. And we will recognize Commissioner Mark DeWitt.
Thank you to the Honorable Mayor Jim Lee, County Clerk Nancy Davis, and members of the Hawkins County Board of Commissioners in regular session met this 24th day of September 2000, that should be 18. Resolution in reference to the appointment of Chair of Hawkins County Commission, Michael J. Harrell. Whereas the office of Chairman of the Hawkins County Commission is due to be filled, and whereas County Mayor Jim Lee has opted not to assume the chair position, as is his option given in TCA section 55103, and whereas Commissioner Michael J. Harrell has the qualifications to carry out the duties of this office, now therefore be resolved that Michael J. Harrell be appointed as Chairman of the Hawkins County Commission beginning September 24th, 2018 until the fourth Monday in September 2019. Madam Chairman, I so move.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion. Now we'll open it up to the floor. Are there other nominations?
I second that.
Ms. Speaks.
I would like to nominate Jeff Barrett for the position of chair.
Okay.
I'd also like to request that each candidate get their 3 minutes to speak.
Are there any further nominations?
I second that.
Okay. There's been a motion that nominations cease by Commissioner Mentz and a second by Commissioner Fields. It's just a minute here. Okay. All right. Can you say? Okay. Commissioner Barrett, would you like to discuss with the commission and members address?
Yes, I would. I don't have enough of these for everybody, but if you would just kind of pass them out. I also have some things for the county commissioners. If you would, take one and pass them out, please. Basically, I got this on that chair for two reasons. Because tonight, we're talking to county commissioners, we're talking to the new people as well as the old people that's been here before. We're also talking to you people out here that are taxpayers of the county. This body, myself included, was elected to represent you folks out here in county business, county government. Now, there's a resolution up tonight to appoint the chairman of the county commission. There's a lot of things that you all, being new commissioners and old commissioners, will have to deal with tonight. First thing, on this resolution, y'all gonna have to decide who elects the committees, okay? Now, I hate it that you're new, but that's the way the ball is, folks. You ran for office, you're you got to vote, that's what you were elected to do. You got options, and that's the options. These people here, you elected, okay? All right. The first thing I want to draw your attention to, as far as the appointments of the committees, CTAS, information on CTAS regarding that, duties of the county mayor on the CTAS website. It says, the county mayor has no control over the appointment of the internal committees of the county commission unless the county mayor serves as chair of the county commission. Okay? That's CTAS -25. All right? Now then, second thing, if you talk to people at CTAS, they refer you to local rules and regulations, okay? Back in 1982, the county commission passed a resolution that was at a special call meeting where the only thing that was talked about was rules of order for Hawkins County.
Mr. Barrett, your time is exhausted, so if you could just wrap that up for us, please.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Basically, what I passed out to you folks, I have a degree in banking and finance. I have an overall QPA of 2.935, I believe it is. In addition to that, I have took to the Tennessee County Commission CTAP program. I have took classes for a year and a half. I am a certified public administrator set through the University of Tennessee, and other than Commissioner Sybil Von Trent, I am the only one on this body that has that qualification. I have been on the boards of directors for chambers for 10 years. I've been president of local chamber for 2 years up in East Hawkins County. Fire department, firefighter, volunteer for 5 years. I appreciate y'all's vote. Thank y'all.
Commissioner Burrell, would you like to address the commission?
Yes, I would. This is my second term being on the commission, and I mean, I'm glad Jeff's got all these qualifications, but he's been doing this a little bit longer than I have, so I passed out a list also of my qualifications. And I mean, my goal for this commission is to bring us back together with honesty and give everybody the information they need to get through the next 4 years. Because, right, I mean, the last 4 years, I mean, we've been divided, and that's the last thing I want us to do. Because that ain't good for the county, it's not good for taxpayers, and we've got to fix the budget. And that's my goal, this whole thing's trying to get the budget fixed and trying to make sure everybody's got the knowledge and the information they need to do that. And like I said, I mean, I've got my qualifications going around, you can look at them. But being your chairman, I will make sure that, we will do the right thing for the county and get everything back in order. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Harris. I'll give everyone an opportunity to look at that handout. And we will be doing this vote by voice vote. So what I will do is call out each commissioner's name, and you will acknowledge whether your vote is for Commissioner Harrell or Commissioner Barrett. And then give me a minute at the end and we'll tally them up. Commissioner Fields?
Yeah, my question would actually be to Commissioner Barrett and Commissioner Harrell. And the point was made a while ago that the committees will be formed by the chairman, not the mayor. I guess the only concern I have is Jim, Mr. Lee was elected as a county mayor, and regardless of whether he elected to be chairman or not, I would like to know as a commissioner that his views will still be taken into consideration on who he thinks should still be on certain committees and not. Not just as us as commissioners, he's still the mayor, and we all, as Commissioner Harrell said, we still do have to work together. And I would just like to know, no matter which one of you guys win, that you both will still take Mayor Lee's, what he's got to say in consideration too. It's not just going to be, who we want and who other commissioners want to put on there. So I guess that question's open up to both you guys. Is that something both of y'all can still do?
I am willing to work with the mayor, and I also like to work with whoever the pro temp is to county do these committees, cause we've got 12 new ones, and we're gonna have to figure out their qualifications that's gonna be on the best committee to help this county.
I believe in my past, I have worked with all kinds of people that have different personalities, things like that. I believe that I can work with Mr. Lee. It's a new ball game for me, a new ball game for him. I think we can respect each other. So yeah, I think we can do that.
Commissioner Mintz?
Madam Clerk, I'd like to definitely go ahead and try and get some clarity and confirmation on how this is going to be addressed as far as the committee appointments. I think that there's an argument that the county mayor will still continue to make those appointments if the county commission so chooses through and adopted rules and regulations. So I would like to, if you wouldn't mind, for Mr. Phillips to address that.
Well, unless the county commission decides otherwise, which would take a vote, of course, then the chairman would make the committee appointments. But the committee, if the county commission so decided or so opted to, they could, of course, by a majority vote, appoint the county mayor to it, or they could have them work together. Whatever, it'll be the chairman unless the county commission takes any action to the contrary. Probably would be, I don't know whether you want to take that with the vote on the chairmanship, or you want to wait till we get a chairman and make raise it, or you could raise it separately before we vote, whichever you like.
I would actually prefer, if it will please the commission, to go ahead and add to this resolution through an amendment that the county mayor will select the committees.
I'll second that motion.
Just 1 second. We're gonna have to write down our speakers because we're gonna have to clear the screen in order to do this. Okay, Commissioner Brewer?
Let's go ahead and vote on the amendment, and I'll speak after the vote on the amendment. I want to speak on the resolution.
Okay, Commissioner Alvis?
I think it's plainly stated that the chairman of the commission shall appoint all committees. We have two commissioners here in attendance tonight that passed this in 1982, Mr. Haynes Cooper and Mr. Charles Thacker. And it plainly states that the chairman of the commission shall appoint the committees, and Mr. Lee chose to do that as the chairman when he decided not to do that. So I think it's plainly stated that the chairman shall pick the committees.
If I can respond to that, those 82 rules were made by a prior commission, and this committee or this commission can change it, amend it, or do otherwise with it by majority vote if they so desire. So if this passed that way, then they changed that by so doing.
So this will be the vote to amend.
That's the effect of it.
Okay.
You say it's an amendment.
Okay, this is the vote to amend this resolution and the 1982 rule to have the county mayor to select the committees for the county commission.
May I ask a point of clarification? How many votes would it take to amend this?
It takes a majority of the full commission, which would be 11.
All right, so acknowledge your vote by pressing yes, no, abstain, and confirm. Yes, 6 no. Okay, 15 yes and 6 no. So it passes. So now we are back to the election of the chairman for the Hawkins County Commission. And those nominated are Mr. Brewer, did you want to speak prior to this vote?
I have a question.
Okay.
As far as the committees goes, it's left up to the mayor, this is a question, is it not left up to the mayor on what committees we have? And we're, you know, if we're gonna have the committees that we had in the past, or we're gonna have, is that not left up to the mayor? I guess, Mr. Phillips?
Left up to the mayor to do what?
To choose what committees do we, these are just, these committees that we've had in the past. It's left up to the mayor whether we have these committees.
Yeah, he will form the committees and, select the members to serve on it, and they will stand unless the commission should overrule it in part or otherwise.
My question though is, if he wants to do away with some of these committees, does he have that authority?
Yes, he has the right to form the committees and to appoint the committee members.
Thank you.
Commissioner Trent? No, sorry, Commissioner Housewright.
Got a question. Whichever one wins the chairman for 1 year, why or how could you make a resolution to give them equal power to the mayor because they're sitting in that seat, where it would be joint decision on the committees?
Well, that would be up to the commission, and the commission has just passed an amendment to the rules for the county mayor to make these appointments. The commission wanted the chairman to co-serve with him, then they could make a resolution to do so.
Okay.
Commissioner Trent?
Does this have any effect on that? In the past, there has been a commissioner from each district on each committee.
That's up to the person.
Did you say that it's up to the person appointing the committee?
Yes, ma'am. That's what he said.
So we could have an imbalanced committees, we could have districts that are not represented if there's not a commissioner from each district on each committee. Is that what I'm being told?
Well, that's the way we've done in the past. I would certainly assume the person forming the committee would give great consideration to continuing that procedure. I can't imagine why it wouldn't.
Mayor, would you like to address that? I mean, is that something you're still gonna have, so that Commissioner Trent, you will still have equal
We're gonna
representation?
do our best, but we're gonna have to work with some of these new commissioners, because we don't know the qualifications.
Well, I think what Commissioner Trent was asking is, are we gonna have 2 commissioners from 4 and 3 from this one? You're still gonna have 1 from each district on each board, is it what you was asking, Commissioner Trent?
Yes, sir, it was.
I do hope it works out that way, but I can't promise you that. Like I say, we'll just have to look at the qualifications.
Okay, Commissioner Speaks. Hey there, so I just have a quick question. Forgive me for being new and not knowing how this works, but the idea that Mr. Housewright brought up, that the chair and the mayor kind of have the same amount of power, is it possible to go ahead and put that into effect tonight by, I guess, to amend the motion or whatever the correct procedure is?
The motion that we just passed, that was from?
No, Commissioner Housewright suggested that we bring forth a resolution that says that the commission chair, whoever that may be, and the mayor share the power, if you will.
Yes, you'd have to do that by amendment.
Okay, then I would like to make that amendment.
All right. You'd have to agree. Of course, that would mean they'd have to agree on it. If they couldn't agree, we'd have to do something else. Yeah. The commission, well, they don't confirm it, but the commission can override it or change it if they wish. If they don't do anything, then it'll stay as appointed. But they have that right to change it, not confirm, but to change it. If they don't do anything, they're still good.
Commissioner Mallett would like to speak, and her voting device is not working.
It's aggravating me. I just wanted to say that we elected our mayor to do the job as mayor, and he has agreed to select the committees if we so want him to do so. So if the people of Hawkins County put enough trust in Mr. Lee to make him mayor of our county, then I feel we as a commission should put enough trust in Mr. Lee to make the right decisions in forming the committees. I think it's going to get a little crazy and a little boggled up if we have 2 people making the decision for one committee. Thanks.
Point of order, there has to be a second before there's any further discussion.
All right, so we have a motion by Commissioner Speaks. Do we have a second? And as I understand it, the amendment is that the county mayor and the chairman of the commission will have the same authority in appointing the committees.
I second it.
have a motion by Commissioner Speaks and a second by Commissioner Housewright. Any further discussion? Not cast your vote, confirm your vote.
Yes, it's for two of them, no, it's just for one.
Yes,
Yes, it's for the two, no, it's for one.
Okay, you got it.
Oh, the battery.
Valerie still has.
Oh. You break it, you bought it.
Don't know what's wrong with it.
Hammer is our first option. I got a bunch of double A's in my camera bag in the car. I need them. Voting machine, battery change going on. Ah, there we go.
We have 9 yes, 12 no. So it's passed. So now we are going back to the original resolution 2018-0901 as amended. And this will be done by voice vote. As I call your name, I'm using an alphabetical order. As I call your name, please acknowledge where you would like to vote for Commissioner Harrell or Commissioner Barrett as your chairman of the county commission. Commissioner Downey Alvis.
Jeff Barrett.
Nancy Barker. Jeff Barrett.
Jeff Barrett.
Rick Brewer.
Harrell.
George Bridwell.
Harrell.
Larry Klontz.
Barrett.
Glenda Davis.
Barrett.
Mark DeWitt.
Commissioner Harrell.
Bob Edens.
Barrett.
Dawson Fields.
Commissioner Harrell.
Keith Gibson.
Commissioner Barrett.
Valerie Goins.
Commissioner Harrell.
Michael Harrell.
Harrell.
Charles Housewright.
Jeff Barrett.
Commissioner Raymond Jesse.
Mike Harrell.
Commissioner Kern.
Abstain.
Commissioner Metz.
Commissioner Harrell.
Commissioner Speaks.
Mr. Barrett.
Commissioner Talley.
Harrell.
Commissioner Thacker.
Harrell.
Commissioner Trent.
Jeff Barrett.
10 votes for Commissioner Harrell, 9 votes for Commissioner Barrett, and 2 abstain.
Either candidate that elected, so we'll have to have another vote. And no one really wants to reconsider, that puts off, so no, I mean. We don't have another vote now, you want to?
Can I put that back on the floor?
Anybody want to?
Who puts it back on the floor? Anybody wants to?
Yeah, anybody wants to.
I'll put that back on the floor. I'll make a motion to put that back on the floor and vote that again. If I can get a second on that.
I'll second.
Yeah.
That's a good motion.
second that.
That's right.
Motion to put it back on the floor again. How you vote?
This will be the motion to put it back on the floor again.
Yes, you put it back on, no, not.
What are we voting on?
Put it back on the floor.
It's gonna be a long 4 years.
I'm gonna try her.
Now his batteries are dead. She's got a box of double A's out there. Sometimes if you take the lid off and you spin it with your remote control, it kind of wakes it back up. Oh, they got those boxing ones up there. Yeah, no, used to be on your transistor radio. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do it again, boys.
Pass 17 yes and 4 no.
Okay, back on the floor for another vote.
Okay, we will do that again by voice vote. All right. Now, your vote is for Commissioner Harrell, for Commissioner Barrett, Commissioner Brewer,
Harrell.
Mr. Talley,
Harrell.
Commissioner Davis,
Barrett.
Commissioner Kern,
Harrell.
Commissioner Fields,
Harrell.
Commissioner Thacker,
Harrell.
Commissioner Trent,
Commissioner Barrett,
Commissioner Goins,
Harrell,
Commissioner Clontz,
Barrett.
Commissioner Housewright,
Barrett.
Commissioner Harrell,
Harrell.
Commissioner Jesse,
Harrell.
Commissioner Metz,
Commissioner Harrell.
Commissioner Edens,
Barrett.
Commissioner Bridwell,
Harrell.
Commissioner Speaks,
Barrett,
Commissioner DeWitt,
Commissioner Harrell.
Commissioner Barker, Commissioner Barrett,
Barrett.
Commissioner Alvis,
Barrett.
Commissioner Gibson.
Harrell.
$13 for Harrell, 8 for Barrett.
Mr. Harrell's been like you.
Before we get started, I want to thank everybody that voted for me, and I want everybody to know, even though, I mean, Barrett, he's a super nice guy and stuff, but we need to come together and be a team to get this county back on the right track. And it's gonna start tonight. We all need to come together as one and let's fix this county. All right, resolution 2018-09-02, introduced by Commissioner DeWitt.
To the Honorable Michael J. Correll, Chairman, and members of the Hawkins County Board of Commissioners in regular session met this 24th day of September 2018. Resolution in reference appointment of Chair Pro Tem of Hawkins County Commission, John C. Metz. Whereas the office of Chairman Pro Tem of the Hawkins County Commission is due to be filled, and whereas Commissioner John C. Metz has the qualifications to carry out the duties of this office, now therefore be resolved that John C. Metz be appointed as Chair Pro Tem of the Hawkins County Commission beginning September 24th, 2018, until the fourth Monday in September 2019. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
All right, so we got a motion, second. Any more nominations from the floor?
I move the nomination cease.
I second that.
Will there be no further nominations? Go ahead and call for a vote.
Okay, we'll go ahead and vote.
Yes, it's for Mr. Metz as Vice Chairman, no, it's not.
Yes, 1 no, 2 abstain.
Thank you. Stephen, thank you, Ms. Bush.
Okay, resolution 2018-0903, introduced by Commissioner Field.
We're gonna pull this resolution, but we will be bringing it back next month.
Resolution 2018-0904, introduced by Commissioner Barrett.
To the Honorable, I guess Mike Red, Chairman and members of the Hawkins County Board of Commissioners, regular session met this 24th day of September 2018. Resolution of reference, approval to rescind resolution number 2018-0206, titled Approval of State of Tennessee Deferred Compensation Plan 2-401K Resolution and Participating Employer Agreement, and resolution number 2018-0207, titled Approval of State of Tennessee Deferred Compensation Plan and Trust 40457B Resolution and Participating Employer Agreement. Whereas on February 26, 2018, County Commission passed resolution number 2018-0206, titled Approval of State of Tennessee Deferred Compensation Plan 2-401K Resolution and Participating Employer Agreement, and resolution number 2018-0207, titled Approval of State of Tennessee Deferred Compensation Plan and Trust 457B Resolution and Participating Employer Agreement. And whereas resolution 2018-0207 would change the employee optional elective deferred compensation plan from Nationwide Retirement Solutions Deferred Compensation Plan to TCRS Deferred Compensation Plan 457B, and resolution 2018-0206 would allow an employee optional elective 401K plan with the state. And whereas the Budget Committee was told that changing the 457B deferred compensation plan would be of no cost to the county associated with the company change. In getting ready for the change and talking to the state, Hawkins County has learned that there will be a charge of approximately $8,000 associated with the transfer of plans that would be passed on to the employee or retiree. There are only 12 to 15 county employees and retirees that participate in this plan, and they would have to absorb this cost. And whereas after learning of the cost associated with changing companies, Hawkins County feels that it would be in the best interest of the employees and retirees to stay with Nationwide Retirement Solutions Deferred Compensation Plan instead of changing to the State of Tennessee Deferred Compensation Plan 2, and whereas the state will only allow participation in the state 401k plan if we drop nationwide and participate in both aforementioned state plans. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the following resolutions be rescinded and established nationwide for the employee optional elective deferred compensation 457B plan. 1, Resolution 2018-026, titled Approval of State of Tennessee Deferred Compensation Plan 2. Number 2, 401k resolution and participating employer agreement be rescinded and stay. Number 3, Resolution 2018-0207, titled Approval of State of Tennessee Deferred Compensation Plan and Trust 457B resolution and participating employer agreement. And the attachments are attached. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recognize Mr. Eric Buchanan.
First of all, thank you, Jeff, for reading that lengthy resolution there. But as he stated, the attempt was to transfer it over to the state on the recommendation of the state. Upon finding out that there was fees associated that were not originally told, previous commission probably remembers this, to you new members, they asked those specific questions: would there be any fees for the county or the employees? They were told no. Well, come to find out there in fact was. So therefore, it's in the best interest to stay with the nationwide plan.
Any further discussion? If not, ask for the vote.
Yes, for the resolution, no, yes.
Resolution 2018-0905, introduced by Commissioner Davis.
To the Honorable Michael Rail, Chairman and members of the Hawkins County Board of Commission, in regular session met this 24th day of September 2018. Approval of statutory bonds for 4th and 5th District Constable for term of office beginning September the 1st, 2018 and ending August the 31st, 2022. Whereas the state of Tennessee requires that certain public officials have official statutory bonds in accordance with the provision of Title 8, Chapter 19, Tennessee Code Annotated. And whereas the following bonds are required to be approved by County Commission and duly signed and recorded by the applicable officials before being filed in the County Clerk's office. Elected August the 2nd, 2018, Constable, District 4, James Hammonds, $8,000. District 5, Charlie Gibson, $8,000. Now therefore be it resolved that the statutory bonds of the above officials be approved by the Hawkins County Board of Commissioners as required by Tennessee Code Annotated. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Okay, we've got a motion. Do we have a second? Any discussion? Resolution 2018-0906, introduced by Commissioner Davis.
The Honorable Mike Burrell, Chairman and members of the Hawkins County Board of Commissioners in regular session, met this 24th day of September 2018. General Purpose School Fund Budget Amendment. Whereas the Hawkins County Board of Education has approved the attached budget amendment to the General Purpose School Fund and now request approval of said amendment by the Hawkins County Board of Commissioners. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hawkins County Board of Commissioners meeting in regular session September the 24th, 2018, go on record as passing this resolution. Mr. Chairman, I so move, and Ms. Farmer is here if there are any questions.
Okay, motion on the floor, second by Commissioner Gardner. Any discussion? Oh, Commissioner Speaks.
A constituent in my district reached out to me. He is a vocational teacher at Volunteer High School, and he's not received any funding for supplies since the 16-17 school year. And I see here that there is an increase of $6,200. Is this going to ensure that our vocational programs get the supplies they need?
I'll let Mr. Smith answer that.
Commissioner Speaks, each program at the high school for CTE program is given a budget locally for supplies and materials. The schools then determine how they spend that money. That's based on, we have 12 CTE teachers at each high school. There's an amount of money they're budgeted, and the CTE principal along with those 12 teachers determine how that money is spent. The federal money, Perkins money, that is allotted to us cannot be spent for consumables, which typically is materials and supplies. I can't speak for this particular budget amendment where it's actually going.
Yeah. Are you talking about the, number one?
Yes, the $6,272.
Basically, all that is the surplus, that was from the 17-18 fiscal year. We have to pull it back out of fund balance and put it back in this CTE line item, because this was stuff that was actually purchased with Perkins funds that he was just referring to. And then we pull those back out, and those are earmarked just for CTE items, for career technical items.
Correct.
So this is excess funds.
No, ma'am, it's
surplus
money.
Surplus that was sold in 17-18. Surplus items. So anything that was surplus for the high school.
So just to verify then, money is allotted for school, and
yes,
then
ma'am.
how that money goes to individual classes is then up to the principal?
The assistant principal, CTE assistant principal, along with his CTE staff, determines how the money will be spent. Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Barrett.
Thank you. The question I've got is there under Board of Education 72310-515 to $35,831 listed as a liability claim. Could you explain what that is, please? Or what that's for?
Tails on your last page.
That's number 8. If you'll look at your description.
Ms. Farmer, could you please stand this way?
That's number 8. If you look at your description, that was for the county portion to a lawsuit.
Okay.
And I went ahead and listed those after we were informed that this was gonna be a liability claim, and county audit actually gave me the revenue number, or the expenditure line to pay this from. Then it also deals with, prior, or past wages, I guess. So we actually ended up having to pay that back out of a salary line, so that, tax withholdings could come out of that. So this whole portion of the $35,000 will not actually be spent out of this line item. So what is not will actually just go back in fund balance. The salary actually came out of transportation fund.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Anything else?
Commissioner
My concern is, I thought we just finished approving a budget
for our schools. And here's what, a month and a half or so later, now we're needing more and more money. And I know when needs come up, we have to meet those needs, but when we try to plan how much money we can spend, we have to have a pretty good idea how much money we're gonna have available to meet our needs and requirements for the county. And if everybody comes in and wants more money, it puts a tremendous burden on us. Who gets what money and what is needs and what is wants. So that's my only concern. And I'm not smart enough to know what the school system's needs are at this point, but it is just a question that hits my mind, and if you have a comment on it, I'd appreciate it.
I mean, I don't care to go through these one at a time if what you're asking. The very first one that Hannah, Commissioner Speaks just referred to, that was CTE surplus that we had to actually pull back out of fund balance, so we could put that in a line item. The second one, number 2, was donations received. They weren't budgeted originally, so we have to budget those now. Those were for attendance. They got some monies for an attendance awareness program. Number 3 was to reallocate funds to add life insurance that was omitted in the original budget. So these aren't things that people just asking for that we're adding to the budget once the budget was passed. Number 5 was to budget another donation for another thing. Because anytime we'll have budget amendments all throughout the year. Anytime we get donations or anything like that, and we have to budget those things. Number 6 was to make appropriations for proceeds from scrib order. This is our online records request. I did try to estimate that for the year. I may have estimated it short. I may have to end up amending that one again, because when we get those funds in, those are passed to the high schools to be used for them to start scanning documents to make their online transcripts requests more electronic, I guess. Some things, I think some of their newer things have been scanned in, but some of their older things are still like stored away in boxes. So they're trying to get those things all scanned in to have an electronic document. Number 7 was to make appropriations for the additional funds received for Safe Schools grant. We didn't know that when we got the original budget, so we had to amend those monies in. Number 8 was the county's portion of the lawsuit. Of course, we didn't know that at the time we had the budget either. Number 9 was to make appropriations for additional funds received from the voluntary pre-K grant. We didn't know that when we had the original budget. Number 10 was to reduce the original budget as per the July final BEP allocation. When this budget was put together, we used the May BEP budget allocation. We actually got a June allocation, but the board had already approved everything based on the May allocation, so we didn't go back and change it once we received the June allocation. We have to go by the final July allocation. Of course, we did not have at the time that original budget was approved, so that's why that had to be made. And then number 11 was to make appropriations for the remainder of the Be Ready Summer Grant, which was not in the original budget because we didn't know how much was going to be left over from that. So that's why we have to have amendments. And like I said, we'll have them all throughout the year for different things. And it's not just for people asking for additional monies.
I thank you for that, and all I'm asking for, because it takes cooperation between both parties for us to fund the needs of our county and our school system, which is doing very well from what I read, and we're certainly proud of that. But we want to do the most we can, the best we can, but we've also got to answer to the people of Hawkins County and balance our budget in an appropriate way. So that's all I have to say. I'm not saying and criticizing you. It's just it's something that it's not only on my mind, but it was also on the minds of some of our people in our district. So, thank you.
Commissioner Fields. Hey, I'm just going to make a statement. It's not a question. It's going off of Commissioner Speaks, what she had said. And over the summer, I actually reached out to quite a few teachers and the educators, and I don't know how many people do not know the money that these teachers, and Mr. Evans was a teacher, that they take out of their own pockets to put in these classrooms. And I had no clue. A friend of mine was telling me, so I started asking other teachers, and it was really eye-opening at how much money that they take out of their own pockets to do stuff in these classrooms that we don't even see. So, you know, but I understand, and like I said, when Commissioner Speaks brought that up, it made me think of that, you know, that I understand why another teacher would want to know that this money go for this or that. It was just crazy. And I also will say, Ms. Farmer, anybody who doesn't understand a lot of these budget amendments and the moving of money here and there when it comes to the schools, Ms. Farmer has schooled me 2 or 3 times on what I did not understand. And it wasn't stupidity. Mr. Bridwell, it's not, you sold yourself short a while ago, but you didn't know. I mean, it's not. We don't know a lot of times, you know. I would ask, and I'm not trying to throw you under the bus and make you get to do more work, but I would tell anybody who don't know to call her, because she really has. You know, it's just, but anyway, that's all.
Commissioner Coleman.
Yes, I think possibly Mr. Bridwell understands now. I was just gonna say that lots of times when you try to explain moving money in a budget, you kind of use the explanation in layman's terms and say, like, you've got money in your savings and your heat pump tears up and you have to take your money out of that savings and put it in your checking. You're not necessarily spending money you don't already have budgeted. It's just the fact that you gotta remove it from one fund to another fund. So you're really not spending any more money. You're just moving the funds around, right? And on the thing about teachers, I have 2 educators in my family, and they spend a lot of money each year on school supplies.
Any more discussion? If not, cast your vote.
Yes, 1 no.
Motion passed. Resolution 2018-0907, introduced by Commissioner Davis.
To the Honorable Michael Rail, Chairman and members of the Hawkins County Board of Commissioners, in regular session met this 24th day of September 2018, Federal Projects Fund Budget Amendment. Whereas the Hawkins County Board of Education has approved the attached budget amendment to the Federal Projects Fund and now requests approval of said amendment by the Hawkins County Board of Commissioners. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hawkins County Board of Commissioners meeting in regular session, September the 21st, 2018, go on record as passing this resolution. Mr. Chairman, I so move. And again, if there's questions.
Motion on the floor, do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Field. Any discussion? If not, cast your vote.
There it goes. Halfway there. Ah, there.
21 yes. Resolution passed. Resolution 2018-0908, introduced by Commissioner Mayor.
Certificate of election, 5 notaries public. I'll read the names. Allison Ball per address for First Community Bank. Tina Begley per address for Eastern Chemicals Company. Eric Buchanan per address for Hawkins County Mayor's Office. Teresa Ann Couch per address for Hawkins County Mayor's Office. Cynthia Cross per address for Terry Reisner, Attorney at Law. Robin B. Gladson per address for Tennessee Valley Authority. Janet A. Hall per address for Hawkins County Health Department. Karen Horton, per address for First Community Bank. Brandon B. Kite, per address First Community Bank. Rita G. Miracle, per address Terry Reisner, Public Law. Shanna Sawyer, per address Custom Heating and Air. Juanita Smith, per address Greenville City JR. And Sykes, per address Town of Mount Carmel. Post Office Shirley Thomas, per address for self. William Tyler, per address Appalachian Tank Car Services. Rebecca Williams Wolf, per address for Rogersville Housing Authority. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Ortiz. Any discussion? If not, cast your vote. Before we read tonight's resolution, everybody should have received a balance sheet and finance statement of all funds. July 1st, 2017 to June 30, 2018. We need to read this in a minute, so. It's been filed. Okay. Ready? All right, resolution 2018-0909, introduced by Commissioner Fields.
To the Honorable Michael Harrell and members of the Hawkins County Board of Commission in regular session met this 24th day of September 2018. Resolution of reference, approval of notary public surety bond. Be it resolved that the following be approved as notary public surety bonds for Hawkins County, Tennessee. Notary Letitia Farrell. Personal surety Philip L. Boyd, 425 East Main, Rogersville. Pat C. Boyd, 425 East Main, Rogersville. I so move.
Motion on the floor, do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Metz. Any discussion? If not, cast your vote.
There's always one. There's always one with that battery. There he goes.
Motion passed. Before we adjourn, everybody's got to vote out, so.
Motion to adjourn.
Need a second. Second by Commissioner Barton.
Thank you.